A world in which only a few can afford housing is not sustainable. Everyone deserves a safe place to live. It can transform the quality of life of individuals and families. Today, however, most cities around the world are facing major challenges in providing safe and adequate housing for their people, especially cities that are growing rapidly and where the affordable housing options are limited. Even those who earn steady wages are unable to buy or rent affordable housing. Rent remains very high and out of line with incomes, forcing many to pay more than 50% of their income each month on housing. Welcome to another informative episode of Housing Development, a show where we discuss housing, affordability and accessibility to Nigerians. As always, I am Flora Ani, your housing diva. Let's see what is trending in the housing sector. I'll be back shortly.
In Nigeria, the real estate sector is evolving at a pace that encourages developers to open their properties to buyers before or while construction is in progress. Real Estate Development Association of Nigeria, Redan, calls on Nigerians to plug into its Ruhi 774 project across the country as off-takers and enjoy massive benefits it offers. According to the president of Redan, off-taking is becoming the norm within the housing sector in Nigeria, and people should readily key into this opportunity as population increase in cities continues to shrink the house ownership space.
A house at your own choice. At the choice of, you have variety of choice. You can choose your local government, you can choose elsewhere, you can choose off-country, anywhere. So the flexibility of payment and choice that is being associated with this program is what makes it so beneficial to the beneficiaries of Ruhi 774.
Redan believes that having this attractive offer and plan in place allows off-takers to have their expectations, taste, and design incorporated into the building and at a location of their preference. The Lagos State Ministry of Fiscal Planning and Urban Development has lauded Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on the employment of 70 town planning officers and 25 architects in the state. Speaking on this development in Alausa, Commissioner for Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, Dr. Idris Alako, praised the vision and magnanimity of Governor Sanwo-Olu for not only choosing to reduce unemployment in the state, but also filling the fiscal planning sector of the state with the required manpower. The Commissioner further charged the newly employed to reciprocate the good gesture of the state government by dedicating themselves to the service of Lagos State. Hope rises in Abuja as the Federal Executive Council has approved resumption of the Federal Capital Development Authority land swap plan. Speaking after the meeting, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory says the land swap initiative is designed to remedy infrastructure deficits in the federal capital by swapping land with private investors who would in turn provide necessary infrastructure. FCT Minister Mohammed explains that the approval comes after he had presented a memo on land swap and an update on FCT land infrastructure swap initiative. He further states that after lots of deliberation, the Federal Executive Council approved the FCT land infrastructure swap initiative, which is popularly known as land swap, a process initiated some time ago by the previous FCT administration. Following outrage against the demolition of illegal structures in Festac Town, Lagos State, by officials of the Federal Housing Authority, the public has been urged to show sympathy to allottees rather than owners of demolished structures. Some allottees have reportedly died without getting access to their land, while people ripped them off by making money on these lands for almost 30 years. The demolition affected about 12 churches and 2 mosques on 2nd Avenue, as well as automobile shops and workshops and markets. Managing Director of Federal Housing Authority, Senator Gbenga Ashafa, says the demolition of illegal structures was not done to target religious organizations or any group, as speculated, but to give way for dredging the canal, dislodging illegal occupants, and also to ensure a proper survey in line with the Festac Master Plan to give possession to the real allottees.
the full details of the news, visit www.africanhousingnews.com. Shanty towns are commonly referred to as quarter settlement, slums, inappropriate housing, informal settlement, or unplanned settlement. UN Habitat 2016 defines shanty towns as illegal or unauthorized settlement characterized by substandard housing made up of plastic sheets, corrugated metal, or cardboard boxes owned by impoverished people without tenure security. Now here is a focus on the voice of homelessness from the shanties of Mabuchi.
Majority of homeless people in Nigeria are the nation's poor, accounting for a staggering 70% of its population, including 60% living in absolute poverty or only able to afford basic necessities such as food, clothing, and shelter. The spate of nationwide insecurity, fueled by armed conflict, insurgency, banditry, unemployment, and an all-time low performance of the economy, has increased the drift of people into major cities, including the Federal Capital Territory, in search of better job opportunities and lifestyle. But a proper shelter to rest in has remained an illusion.
We are the people who are just situated in this place. It's not as if it's our own land, but we are staying here with the consent of the owner of the land. We came out from different places, different states. We have people from Katsina here. We have others from Zamfara. We have others from Kaduna, Kano, different places. Like you see, everybody who's situated here, like I mentioned, we came out from different states. It's God's doing. The situation is so bad here. We don't live here with our wives. Based on the situation, all our children, wives are at home there. We came around to hustle and see how we are going to help them live better. Like you can see, because of the situation where we are living here, there is no toilet, no light, no water. And by the grace of God, for me, as I'm talking to you, I've been staying here for close to 12 good years now.
Although some of those who live in shanties, under bridges, and on the floor of market stalls are completely jobless and beg to survive, others are engaged in one business or the other. While some of these boys, called Merua, depend on delivering tens of 20 liters filled with water from boreholes to survive, many others may bola, dispose of refuse, and afterwards search out scraps and other recycling items to feed themselves. Some of them work at bus stops, calling out for passengers in exchange for 50 naira, while a good number of them push wheelbarrows at nearby markets for as little as 50 naira or as high as 200 naira. A closer look at these places reveal a different kind of life, hidden from the ever-prying eyes of demolition officers.
What we do to survive here is liberal in the sight. If we have, we'll do. If we don't have, we look up to God and we sleep. Our prayers and pledges is God to give us peace and stability in the country so that we can live in peace. And we are praying for our leaders as well. And may God bless us with what we can feed ourselves. Most of the times you see destructions, killings, stealings, and the rest of other bad things that goes on in the country is as a result of idleness. So we are praying that you should make a provision for some of us to have something doing so that issues like this will not be recorded again. We beg for the government, governors, and even our head of entire Nigeria that they should look into the problems of people of our class. We survive strictly on site work, up and down doing. And if you can look at it since last year when the COVID-19 came around, I've never been able to travel home. I've been around site work here and there.
For many Nigerians within the Federal Capital Territory, trapped under the umbrella of homelessness, life is a potpourri of events. Many people who arrive the Federal Capital Territory with no support from family, loved ones, or the government hope for a better future is the only ray of light, and bridges at strategic parts of the city the starting points. To mitigate the prevalence of homelessness for Nigeria's most vulnerable citizens, more work must be done, and quickly too, to provide support for the nation's poor and drastically reduce the number of people crying from the shanties.
At this point, the role of social housing is absolutely crucial. It provides a home for people who cannot otherwise access one. It builds communities and gives people support, which helps them to live healthy and happy lives. The importance of housing cannot be overemphasized, especially for the low-income earners in the society.
What is the name of my grandson?
Suleiman.
That's a good name. May the Almighty preserve him.
Amin.
Now that your family is growing, this is the time for you to start thinking of a house of your own.
Abba, the thought of this has always been on my mind. To build a house now, you need a lot of money, and that is what is holding me back.
Sonny, what you need is a mortgage. NHF mortgage loan. With NHF mortgage loan, you own a house upfront and pay gradually over a long period of time.
Abba, I will go to the FMBN office right away.
Come join us at FMBN and let's shelter Nigeria together.
Welcome back. The program is Housing Development. At times like this, one wonders why a landlord will serve his or her tenant a quit notice. With the present economic situation, it can be an emotional and worrisome time, filled with uncertainty. It is important for tenants who receive a quit notice to understand that this is the first step in the legal process and there are usually ways to remedy the situation. Now, on Voices on the Street, the question is, what would you do if your landlord gives you a quit notice now? Let's find out the reactions of some Nigerians.
You will give me some time for me to look up for a money to give you. Either you will give me for some time to look for another house and leave your house.
I will beg him if it can give me a little time for me to find another home and pack out. If you no agree, I know people where I can go to and beg them that this what is happening. This is the kind of situation I'm in for now. If they can help me, let me pack out.
You just have to give me a few time to try to sort myself out. I think maybe within that few time, maybe 3 months or something. I think so. I'll be able to get a place, move out. That's if my rent has actually expired. If it hasn't, then he has to allow me to stay till my rent has expired.
Actually, I will never blame him because he built the house to get income. But now the income is not coming, so he has to take another alternative. Can he continue to be helping people to be staying in his house for charity?
If I should be a tenant and my landlord give me a quick notice, I have to bear it.
I'm Leilani Farha, the UN Special Rapporteur, and I hope you'll keep watching the Housing Development Program.
One of the most prominent features of your house is your roof. Your roof will tell how old your building is. At Plus World, we pride ourselves in having the expertise and products to bring your roof back to life. While other roofing companies suggest removing the roof, we restore the roof with warranty assurance. Let Plus World Roofing recoat your old and fading roofs and make your roofs brand new. Our products are eco-friendly and completely harmless to human and the environment. We offer services that will sustain your roof's integrity and by extension, your property value. This includes roof repairs and maintenance for residential, commercial, and industrial properties. Our roof restoration solution saves you up to 70% the cost of replacing your roof. Contact Plus World Roofing today.
Some Nigerians there reacting to the question, what would you do if your landlord serves you a quick notice on Voices on the Street? All right, moving on, stakeholders in the housing and finance industry recently gathered with great enthusiasm at the launch of a great book, which is invaluable for investors, financial planners, and investment advisors. The Law and Practice of Real Estate Investment Trusts, authored by Akim Oguniran, the MD CEO of Ezima Realty. Housing Development Crew covered the event. Now here are the sights and sounds.
Prominent players within the real estate sector, captains of industry, politicians and the media turned up in Abuja for the public presentation of a book written by Akim Oguniran, Chief Executive Officer of Eximia Realty Company Limited. At the unveiling of the book, The Law and Practice of Real Estate Investment Trusts, Oguniran said one of the driving forces for this work is showcasing on the global stage opportunities within the real estate sector in Africa, with a strong focus on Nigeria.
It's about generating conversations that will create an agenda for reform. And this is a thought that we're having for the past 30 months. And I'm really very happy and thankful to all of you for coming. There's not like African REITs. A REIT is a REIT anywhere in the world. There are standards that are what we call the variables. Once you take an asset class, if those variables are there, it becomes a REIT. If they are not there, it is not a REIT. No matter whatever way you want to describe it. And so that's the kind of conversation that we want to generate.
Managing Director of the Federal Housing Authority, Senator Benga Ashafa, delivering a goodwill message at the launch, revealed that the agency's 764-unit estate in Zuba is likely to be commissioned within the third quarter of 2021 and restated the federal government's commitment to deliver quality homes to Nigerian families, while stakeholders at the event lauded Oguniran for his support towards the growth of the real estate sector in Nigeria and stepping up his game by contributing to the body of knowledge available to practitioners, a great way to grow the sector.
Every developer can agree with the fact that the beauty and attraction of all real estate endeavors is to get the products taken after construction. It is only that way that returns on investment is guaranteed. It is therefore necessary that we ramp up the pace at which our real estate market is transitioning from the cash and carry basis to the mortgage plan.
What Hakim has done is to lead in terms of what we need to be doing in Nigeria around innovation. The truth is that we are facing a crisis with respect to our urban development and with housing. And old ideas won't work anymore. We need to go beyond our comfort zones and do new things. So I hope that for many of the practitioners, policymakers, lawyers in the room, that the ideas around REITs will not just stay in the book, that every one of us, including my own organization, will take the opportunity that the information therein provides to think about what do we do with the ideas and the opportunities that are in there.
And real estate is a long-term investment. And as long as we keep on funding it with a short-term fund, is mismatched, it can't work. So that's the importance of this book.
As Akim Oguniran continues to receive commendations for his book, The Law and Practice of Real Estate Investment Trusts, there are calls for stronger affirmation that the real estate sector in Nigeria has what it takes to hold its fort on the global stage and pull in more investments.
My name is Munia Tagma. I encourage you to watch Housing Development.
Coming up as one of the biggest housing estates in Abuja, the Brains and Hammers Bungalow City project, sited on 400 hectares of land with a 6,000 housing unit, is an affordable housing project designed to cater to the housing needs of middle and low-income earners in order to decrease the housing shortfall in Nigeria.
This is Bungalow City, an affordable housing unit built by Redan Ruhi Limited with about 250 hectares of land. The project is divided into two phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 has about 8 clusters, phase 2 has about a first cluster. But the project commences with phase 1, cluster 1.
We're building 6,000 houses of 2 and 3 bedrooms, mainly focused on civil servant and individuals. Our partners are Federal Mortgage Bank. We have investors like ARM and Inverness as well, who have sponsored some project on site. Currently, we have about 1,000 houses at various stages of completion. We intend to hand over phase 1 in actually June, inshallah.
Brains and Hammers Bungalow City consists of beautifully designed 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom detached bungalows with master bedroom and rooms all en suite with high-quality finishings, including boys' quarters and ample parking space for each house for a comfortable and serene living.
This is phase 1, or we call it cluster 1 in our illustrations. Where we are right now is where we have the 2-bedroom terrace bungalows. Phase 1 cluster 1 has about 367 housing units, which comprises of about 3 different types of houses. 3-bedroom fully detached bungalows has about 162 housing units. 3-bedroom terrace bungalow has about 145 housing units. And then the last is a 2-bedroom terrace bungalow has about 66 units.
Brains and Hammers Bungalow City is much more than just residential buildings. It is a complete package of commercial, hospitality, infrastructure, and residential development.
All the facilities that you can find in any city or any district, like in Wuse, Maitama, or any other location within Abuja. We're going to have market, we're going to have farmers market, we're going to have abattoir, we're going to have filling stations, we're going to have fire service, police stations, we're going to have spiritual centers where you're going to have mosques and churches, we're going to have plazas, we're going to have corner shops, so many facilities in the estate. We have 2 sets of customers. We have individuals who are self-sponsored. We have a project that is sponsored by FMBN as well. You can subscribe and get a mortgage through FMBN. So the individuals and the mortgage subscribers all fill the form at the first activity in getting the houses. You fill the form, we give you an offer letter. After that, you make initial deposit, then you decide whether you want to go for mortgage or you want to be self-sponsored. If you're doing self-sponsored, either you go for outright or you go for the 9 months payment plan. If you want to go for mortgage, you fill in your form, you pay the necessary contribution, then you submit your application to the PMB and they process and get the money back to us. Once that is done, within 3 to 6 months, you'll be able to get your house.
Subscribers of the Brains and Hammers Bungalow City are given value for their money, as Brains and Hammers are dedicated to ensuring that standards are met and on-time delivery of projects are maintained without minimizing quality, integrity, and utmost client satisfaction.
Abuja International Housing Show is a show that must not be missed. And I say to all members, of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners. We've said this at a workshop that we had last week. We actually advertised it. We had the workshop of the Association of Town Planning Consultants. And we have even urged them, those of them who have projects, that we can exhibit in our booth. We're going to take a booth this year. I'm inviting all town planners in the public sector, the private sector, and in the academia. And I'm also letting them know that there's a day for planning where we're going to discuss green housing and smart cities. You should be on the lookout. This year's Abuja International Housing Show will be exceptional.
And it's a wrap on today's edition of Housing Development. Thanks for watching. Join me same time next week. Until then, do have a great day ahead. I remain Flora Ani, your Housing Diva.